Okay. Hello, students. Welcome to my course. I'm glad to see you, all of you. And this is a master and PhD degree course. And as you already very well know, this is a format of a research seminar. So I bring very well-known professor from all over the world, and I'm sharing his or her the research expertise and domain with you, and so you may have a very great the upcoming research ideas from these seminars. And in order to interaction with the presenter, Professor Nan Hua, and you, please turn on your video and interaction with him, and do not off your video as long as the condition allowed, because this is course, not uh, the, the your your voluntary seminar. This is a course for you and from my school, so I have to check out your attendance as well as your participation and commitment. Okay. Thank you very much once again. You're registering my course. I'm going to introduce briefly about the Professor Nanhua for you, and then we're going to start. Okay, let's try. Please turn on your camera. Okay. Today, I invited Professor Nan Hua, University of Central Florida. Okay. And he will going to present the title AI Takeover of Hospitality Revolution and Navigating Big Data. Hold on. Okay. Navigating Big Data and Smart Tech before it's too late. Okay. We are not too late. Professor Nan Hua is a professor in the hospitality management and serves as chair for Department of Hospitality Service at Lawson College from 2000 to 2025. Wow, it's a detail. 5 years. His research interest is centered on, please. Uh, His research interest is centered on performance analysis with a particular focus on information technology, which is my area. Human capital is organization part, and methodology, and applied econometrics, and education program, evaluation and education method. Professor Hua has published extensively in premier journals such as International Journal of Hospitality Management, Tourism Management, with a portfolio of 84 referred journal articles and over 140 academic publications. His accolades include recognition among Stanford Elsevier top 2% scientists, destination at top 10 most productive author in International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management, ranking among the top 5% of scholars worldwide, listing as hashtag shop 62 worldwide top scholar in commerce. Wow. This is a great opportunity for us to meet Professor Nan Hua. Thank you very much. Okay, the stage goes to Nan Hua. Okay, you may start your presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Taku, for such a nice introduction. I forgot how to say this in Korean. Should be 감사합니다, right?
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
감사합니다. All right. I prepared some slides,
Uh-huh.
so I will start sharing
Okay.
my slides. Let me first, okay, make a little adjustment
Wow.
and then
What's
let,
this? Good.
okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Uh, but however, you're changing the full screen shot.
Oh, okay. It has the caption on. So do you want me
Good.
to turn off the caption? Okay, I'll turn off the
Oh, yeah.
caption.
It's good
Yeah,
for
because
apps.
sometimes
Yes.
people want the caption, so
Yes.
uh, I just turn it off. So
No, no, no.
um,
Leave it. We may new experience this for caption for our students.
okay,
Okay.
okay, I will keep the caption on
Okay.
then.
Uh-huh.
You see, when we have the caption on, it's easier. Sometimes
Yes.
maybe I speak a little bit too fast,
Uh-huh.
but it still can capture what I'm saying, so it
Yeah.
may be a little bit easier
Mm-hmm.
to follow.
Okay.
Uh, So we this is the best of times, the worst of times, I guess. So we can say that. And AI has wow brings so much impact over the last 2 or 3 years. Things completely changed. So I think since this is the first session, maybe I can take the opportunity to talk about this to get everything started. For the first slide, I would like to just very quickly uh, do a poll. Okay. Let me see how
Good.
do
Mhm.
I show meeting more. Okay. It okay. Somehow it does not allow me to poll questions. Um, I created a few poll questions.
Mhm.
Um, okay, let me see if we can do it over here. Mm, okay. Mm, mm. Okay. I guess probably because our versions are not compatible somehow. So, okay, then I will just skip the poll questions.
Mhm.
But basically, what I try to ask everyone is when you're looking at this, what do you think? Uh, do you think the AI will facilitate your experience or enrich your experience in the hospitality, or you also feel like nervous about the AI because it could take over all the jobs, right? It gets smarter and smarter as time goes by. And if you think about it, its computational capacity is way beyond any human can ever imagine. Okay. So if you think about it, every day it advances, every day it gets better. And now we're talking about the AI's integration into the hospitality industry, and we see a lot of things have happened.
Mhm.
So think about this. Now we are at this very, very interesting time when the AI is still kind of in the process to be introduced to the hospitality industry and the tourism industry, obviously. What is your take on this? So do you feel nervous or you feel excited?
Uh, to me, exciting. Uh, you know, as usual, computer after computer comes to our life, the internet and smartphone now is AI. So every single 1 decade, the 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 technology, revolution transformed our way of business in hospitality and tourism. So I'm
One
excited to see and how this world going to be changed.
wonderful, yes. So very briefly about myself. Dr. Koo introduced very nicely about all these things that I did, but I want to just talk a little bit about, the starting point and how I get to where I am. When I was in New York in 2002, um, right after 9/11, I did not know, maybe many of you did not have much impression about 9/11, but 9/11 was a very, very bad thing, very drastic, because, the terrorists, they attacked New York and attacked the World Trade Center. It was two very tall towers, and they then just drove the plane into the towers and it killed many, many people. It was very, very bad. That was obviously 22 years ago. Now, 23 years ago, or 24 years ago, we probably can say. Uh, but at that time, it was very, very drastic. But New York was, in my opinion, really a great city, and the people are very, very nice. They're still accommodating, no hatreds, even under such kind of circumstance. People are still, enjoying the diversity, everything there. And then what I noticed was all these companies, the valuation are going up. Although you're looking at the tangible assets, things that you can see, right? For example, a hotel, you can see a hotel right there. And somehow the value on the book, so they write down how much the hotel is worth on their accounting books, okay? But the market is willing to pay a much higher price for the hotel, which triggers me to think, what is going on? What's the difference between the two, right? You have the tangible things you can value, but the difference between what the market is paying and what the book is saying is quite big. So it comes from something that you cannot see. And that's the idea of intangible assets. And I just felt, oh, that was very interesting. I cannot see, but it's mysteriously gives, all these companies value and generate things that will benefit the company. And even for investors, they like those intangible assets and are willing to pay for them. And that just triggered the whole system. Okay, you have assets, then assets are gonna impact performance, and then for assets, you have tangible and intangible assets, and for performance, you have financial and non-financial performance. So that's my whole research, basically. And then Dr. Koo talked about some of these things just very quickly. Now, I think it is very important for us to think about this. Okay, it is not like whether you like it or not. It's not something that you can say, oh, I can avoid. AI is here and it's going to stay and it's going to get better. So for us, if you're still thinking about, oh, I still want to do things the old traditional way, we want to stay away from AI, we do not want to use it, you may want to think about that again. And especially you guys in the master program, in the PhD program, three years down the road or 5 years down the road, that you will be in the market thinking about what to do, right? With all these new things that many of them probably are driven by AI. So you really have to think about, okay, if I want to go into the industry, how am I going to use all these AI tools? What kind of AI tools will give me an advantage? I frequently got questions from students and people from around the world, and they ask, they say, okay, since AI is so smart, right? For example, now everybody use ChatGPT, and you can just easily feed a prompt, and ChatGPT can produce you an essay in a few seconds. And the essay can be perfectly written, and you cannot find any grammatic issues, okay, at least, right? And you wonder, okay, it's so smart, then what can I do? Especially down the road. So I think for me, I always tell them, the AI is great, but you have something unique. Every one of us is unique. It is up to you to figure out that uniqueness and amplify that uniqueness. And then you will have things that we can say unAIable. Okay, so AI cannot do for you, or AI cannot replace you, in other words. Then that's your uniqueness. And then when you're using AI, you're actually making things better. You can do things more efficiently, do things faster, do things better. So I think those are the couple of things that I want to call everybody's attention to. Um, so if you think about all these, back in 2019, we wrote a grant for the National Science Foundation in the US. We got $1 million to look at the AI's impact for the hotel and restaurant industry, because at that time, AI was early stage at that time. So it's not like as powerful as what we have today, not like ChatGPT and all that stuff, right? Generative AI was not there yet. At that time, it was more of perception AI, so you kind of have voice recognition and things like that. But we were thinking, since the AI is such a trend, right? You really have to think about what kind of impact it will have on the jobs, what kind of impact it will have on the workers. So we got the grant, we look at all these things. We spent almost 3 years thinking about looking at all these different perspectives. And it's very interesting. I think from our perspective, we actually reached the conclusion, like Dr. Koo was saying, AI is actually bringing more opportunities to us instead of killing all the jobs and replacing every possibility. The idea behind, if you think about it, this actually happened in history quite a few times. For example, during the industrialization age, right? In the United States, 95% of all the people who are working are farmers. 95%. And remember that industrialization means all the machines, right? All these machines are going to come over. They are going to work do the fields and work for people. And obviously, you don't need that many people to work in the field anymore. And as a matter of fact, nowadays, 5% of American people are farmers because you only need 5% of people to work on the fields to produce all the things that we need, right? Because of the industrialization. However, 95% of the people nowadays are living a much better life because there are so many other opportunities that was not even imaginable during the industrialization process era. Okay, so the same thing is going to happen to the AI wave of trend. And NVIDIA, the president, Jason Huang, right? He was talking about, okay, now we're talking about the AI trend, and this is his vision. And he is showing, okay, at the very beginning, it was AlexNet. That's basically about a medical kind of stuff, right? And then you have the perception AI, so voice recognition. And then he is talking about generative AI, which is like ChatGPT and that kind of stuff. And then agentic AI. And today we have quite a few of those, and we can actually set one up for ourselves if we want. Okay, it can take care of things for you automatically. And then, you have physical AI, which is basically all these robotics that can do what humans can do. Okay. Of course, beyond that, if you want to think even a little bit more, that would be the super intelligence, right? So those in the scientific movies and fictions. So it's very, very super powerful. Okay. So these are different kind of trends people are talking about and thinking about. So if I want to ask you quickly, okay, you think about it in our industry, if you're thinking about these 4 different types of AIs, which one do you think will impact our industry the most? Or which one would you like to see to impact our industry the most?
I think agentic AI,
Agentic AI. Oh,
agentic
that's
AI. For example, these days, everybody goes to TripAdvisor, hotels.com, and Airbnb.com to
right.
book hotel or accommodation.
Right.
And sometimes I have no idea which product should I take or purchase. Somebody gave me the advice for what what to do.
Uh-huh.
Then probably my agency,
Right.
professional booking agency or airplane agency recommend
Right.
me personally suitable for my itinerary or my
Uh-huh.
types of the accommodation.
Uh-huh.
That kind of agentic AI uh,
Uh-huh.
converge into TripAdvisor or Airbnb or Netflix.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be great helpful for me.
Right.
Right.
Right. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. So when we're thinking about this, actually, if we look at this a little bit more, okay, the generative AI is actually uh, probably the building blocks to move forward because agentic AI, you're looking at this AI agent that has the brain and has some system instructions it needs to follow. So the brain is actually based on generative AI. So when we are looking at generative AI, technically speaking, what it does is actually after millions and millions of training materials, okay, it's a very large language model. Now we're talking about large, we're talking about 4 trillion parameter model. Okay, so you have a model with 4 trillion parameters. Okay, if you're talking about 100 billion, a couple of 100 billion, that's small model nowadays. Now, if you think about 4 trillion parameters in a model, then what it does is actually, if you think about it, mathematically speaking, it's just any sentence, any concept, it turns into a vector. You guys all took a linear algebra, right? So it turns into a vector in the multi-dimensional space. And for the generative AI to generate something, it will find that vector and find something that is in a similar direction. So that's the idea. It recognized and understand the patterns and use the patterns and based on probability to predict, okay, most likely what would be the next vector. And that vector is determined by, let's say, 2000 parameters. Okay, you have a 2000, let's say 2000 dimensions, then it's a vector with 2000 numbers in it. Okay, and obviously in reality, actually, it has way more than that. Okay, but that's generally the idea. But because of that, generative AI is very powerful. It can actually create new things. Okay. And what it can create is all these things that you can imagine nowadays. So it create text, right? Image art. Like in this PowerPoint, this is generated by AI. I did not do this. This is generated by AI. I just asked, okay, um, what I want, and can you generate something for me? It generates something for me. And I produce music, audio, and all the 3D modeling, all the things that you can imagine. Because the knowledge, all the human knowledge, 99% are online. So this provides, all these large language models opportunities, to train themselves and just understand the patterns embedded.
Mhm.
They do not have feeling. Oh, it's they will have bias because all the knowledge are generated by human beings, and human beings have knowledge. Obviously, that will be also learned by, but AI is not like understands it. It's like you have this pattern, you understand the pattern, and then based on the pattern and the probability to produce another thing that resemble this pattern. So that's so far what we understand. And if you ask computer scientists what actually is going on, what is AI thinking, they do not even know how the AI is thinking.
Okay.
Because imagine large language model, 4 trillion parameters, all these little changes
Uh-huh.
for people, for a human being, that it's not possible for you to wrap your head around, such a large number of parameters, all the changes. So what they are doing nowadays, they're interacting with the AI, trying to understand how things are working. And even more interesting, they ask AI to interact with the AI to figure out how things are working. So it's a very, very interesting process. And if you think about it, it could be the brain, because generative AI could be the brain for even later on all these different types of AIs. And if you think about it, obviously, if you're talking about creative, right, like the picture I just showed you right now, this one is also generated by AI. I have very minimal artistic touches myself. Okay, I can do some basic sketches, but definitely I cannot produce something like this. But AI, this takes maybe 15 seconds. It generated this. It looks very nice, right? Very, very nice. And if you think about it, what kind of jobs could be affected now? If you are thinking about producing, processing some repetitive paperworks, generating marketing plans, or doing some market research basic level, those will be replaced, okay? Because those are very easy, more about information collection, and you have very clear rules how to deal with the information, and those will be easily replaced by. And of course, because it opens really up opportunities, I think for us, we really want to keep an eye on the development. I mean, if you think about all these AI models, we have Claude, we have Grok, we have ChatGPT, we have Gemini, right? We have DeepSeek R1, R2 is coming out very soon. Just think about it. All these different things, they have different advantages and different capabilities. And when you are trying to utilize them, you probably want to, keep yourself updated on all these developments, right? So, for example, if you are thinking about writing very nice essays, has nice artistic touches in your writing, Claude actually is better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT can produce language very professional, right? Without grammatic errors. But when it comes to the style, when it comes to the texture and the touches, Claude appears to be better. Okay. So they have really different advantages. For example, DeepSeek is really great with reasoning. So very complex problems, it will be able to reason it out. And it shows you the reasoning process. That's the very, very fascinating part of it. Because when you ask a question, it will start to show you how it is thinking. Oh, the user is asking this question. Oh, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. This is the typical process we can use to solve this problem. And then there are these issues. And it shows you every step of the way, very, very rigorous reasoning. And then once it completes the reasoning process, it produces, the solution for you, recommendations for you. So it's really, really nice. And because it's very smart, maybe you can, if you're trying to create an agent, AI agent for yourself, then DeepSeek can be the agent that manage all these other agents. So it can be the AI manager that manages all these individual AI agents, which has very specialized tasks to do. For example, you could have an AI agent that deals with all the emails that you have. Okay, you can dedicate it to the agent. The agent will check your email, reply all the emails that send it to you in a certain way, and it will mark the email as read. It will put the email under a certain label. For example, certain emails will be classified as urgent. Certain emails will be classified as marketing or so on and so forth, right? You can just imagine what you can do, a lot of things. But think about this. If you have a team of AI agents, literally, as an individual, you can have almost like a company because you're the one who's managing, you're creating all these agents. They are like humans. They can do all these things for you. Okay. So it's very, very exciting. Uh,
Okay,
and
Professor,
obviously,
how
yes,
before we go forward, I have a few questions for you. Um,
yes,
you have been a professor in this industry and discipline and academia quite a long time, and
right,
and you must have seen uh, the changing of the technology in our academia. And
right.
however, you may not predict how the academia with AI are changing, but we are just a step by step check it out there, and the next stage with just the previous the findings and the academic papers.
Right.
Uh, but as you may assume, uh, probably AI is a very essential part of our academia and the big, huge research agenda for us, right?
Right.
And as you mentioned, in terms of DeepSeek is created by Chinese
Uh-huh.
industry. You are native Chinese
Uh-huh.
who work in the U.S. soil,
Uh-huh.
and probably what do you think about the someone who has something the language barrier
Uh-huh.
and or creative barriers?
Uh-huh.
AI probably going to be pretty helpful for the second language speaker or other Asian country users.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
can you say something about that case? Because it's quite similar for my students here in living in Seoul, Korea, and
Oh,
we are
absolutely.
we are second language speaker, and we are living in the between China and U.S.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Think about Samsung phones.
Uh-huh.
The most recent 25, Samsung most recent S25, it has built-in AI that can do real-time translations.
Mhm.
So you can use the phone when you're talking, and the phone immediately, in real time, translate what you're talking in Korean to whatever language you like. And if you take a picture or you look through your lens of your phone at something, okay, which is a foreign language, whatever the language might be, it will be able to translate language into Korean. So you understand it looking at it. Just all you need to do is read your phone and look through the lens, and you will be able to see, Korean. Even you're in Germany and looking at a German in United States, looking at all these English. Okay, but you're able to actually nowadays the language barrier is lowered significantly. Well, it doesn't mean that you don't need to learn English or you don't need to learn a foreign language. When you learn a foreign language, it really gives you the opportunity yourself, right, to do a lot more because it's easier, relatively speaking, still without this media. And nowadays, all these smart glasses, for example, Meta Ray-Ban glass, right? It has the camera here and the chips, the technology part is on this part, and it's bone conduct speaker. So what it does is when you're talking to people in real time, it will be able to translate, okay, let's say English to Korean, and you will be able to hear it in real time nowadays. And all these technologies now are getting better and better, and the language barriers is lowered significantly. And if it's not for some it's almost like prerequisite. You have to be able to do this at this level. You can you will not have any problem living in the United States, communicating in the United States, just utilizing the technologies that we have today, just using that phone. And if you're using ChatGPT, for example, you have no language barrier. Put it in. Okay, you do not understand what it says. You just say, okay, in Korean. You don't need to use English. Okay, in Korean, you just say, okay, translate this into Korean. And it will translate into Korean. You read it. Oh, this is what it means. So it's really, really powerful. And also the optical capture technology is also very, very good now. For example, if you see something you do not understand for now, right? But you have your phone with you. And even though your phone may not have that functionality, let's just say, take a picture. Always remember to take a picture of things that you feel interesting or you like, because that picture can be easily recognized by all these AI tools. And just based on that picture, it may be your inspiration for your business, or it may be your inspiration for a research topic. It may be the inspiration for you to do something that you probably have never thought of. Okay. But taking pictures is a great way to, utilize all these starting point to utilize all these great technologies. So like what we are talking about generative AI, obviously you're going to have all these chatbots, virtual assistants, right? And in the past, I think it was like 2016, Hilton introduced the Connie,
Mm.
a robot. That's a toy robot. It's like almost a little toy, this toy, right? Blue, and I believe it was IBM Watson program. And very rudimental thing, just kind of talk and basically talk back to you. And then now they have more advanced one chatbot like this one. This one is actually a Chinese name. I'm really surprised, Xiaoxi. And it has, I think it served a lot of people, okay? And the satisfaction rate is like 94% or something like that. It's really, really high. So it can really do a lot of things. And this Adam, let me see if I can show you. Today, I do not know this the sharing part. If
You
it's
probably close your file and sharing again the Adam.
Yeah, let me see if I can show you
Oh,
here.
good.
You can see, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, good.
This one is a robot, but this robot can prepare cocktails for you. So you go, you want to have a drink? Okay, here you go. So you have all these different opportunities. And also, there is this um, new hotel. This one's coming this May in Vegas. It's called the first AI hotel. I'm really looking forward to see what it can do. Basically, everything is going to be AI driven, and think about that and see what kind of stuff we're gonna have. So it's really, really exciting. And now we got all these beautiful things. We have all these possibilities to personalize, services and provide you all these AI driven solutions. We really have to think about something that relates to the quality, right, of all these AI generated content. And obviously, I think I picked one that is very easy to understand. This is AI generated text. And just very briefly, I want to show you some kind of backbone how this works. And you understand, okay, this is not like very mystical or magic. Okay, it's just some very creative people, of course, in the past, they thought about this and figure out, okay, this is how it works. And what it does is for text, okay, one of the very important criteria is called the difference value. And it's driven by two things. One is similarity, the other is repetition. Okay. And it's just math. It's not like something very mysterious and you have to figure out. And it's actually quite straightforward math. Think about text A. Okay, text A is cat, cat, dog. Okay. And what it does is you just need to create a vector that counts how many times these words appears. So because we need to compare A and B, right? So we have three words, one, two, three. We have cat, we have dog, we have bird. So as a vector, you're going to have a three-dimension vector. So cat appeared twice in this, and then dog appeared once, bird appeared zero, right? So that's the vector. And then you have the cat, bird, and then you have, okay, cat one, but there was no dog. So dog is zero and a bird is one. So it turns this into these vectors and just using this formula here. I mean, that's the cosine similarity formula. I do not want to go into that, but you can easily calculate that and figure it out. And what happens is these two, the calculation will tell you the angle between those two vectors. So imagine you have two vectors in your space, right? If they are 90 degrees from each other, they are not related. But if they are similar and smaller angles, they are very similar, right? That's the idea. Very straightforward. And then if you think about it, the next thing is about repetition. Repetition is easier, and it's just count how many times certain terms repeated. And the most often used is called the bigram. So basically, two-word chunks each time. So for example, the cat sat, the cat run. Okay, this is one sentence. But every time you chop it into bigrams, so two words, two words, two words, two words, two words. And you look at how many times the same thing repeat. The cat, the cat. Okay, this one repeat twice. And therefore, it just counts as repeated overall, and you have 40% repetition. So if you think about that, and the difference value, this is of course based on research, and the difference value has the weight of 0.6 for similarity and a weight of 0.4 for repetition rate. And then when you do this, you calculate a weighted average, right? And that's the difference value. And these are the typical, criteria used to say, okay, is this good or not that good? Okay. If it's too similar, that's not big. If it's too repetitive, it's not good. So you can see the numbers here. And that's how it's done for some of these directions. And obviously, if you're thinking about it more comprehensively, right, how it's evaluated, then these are the typical criteria we have to look at. If you're thinking about AI generated text, whether it's good or bad, right, these are the things that some of them are automatically checked by the AI tools. Some of them you have to have the human intervention and see, okay, whether this is good or not good. But in any case, that's roughly the idea. So you have some basic understanding of yes. So this is how things are done here. Now, I think the impact of AI, if you think about it, most direct impact would be the operation, right? So in the hospitality, when you introduce AI, after all, hospitality industry is a for-profit industry. So whether you're able to make profit is critical for all the companies to survive, to prosper, right? So how can we use AI? Then the first, area of focus is in the operation. What kind of benefit can AI bring? And then if you think about it, for hotels, it is very fixed asset intensive, right? The hotel sits there, it's not changing, okay? And all these fixed assets, you have the elevators, you have all these big chunk equipments, and the IT systems introduced, the audio systems, the rooms, the building, and all these things. Once you put it in, they usually work for a very long time, okay? But sometimes they have problems. Then how can you make sure that you are proactive instead of nowadays mostly we have to be just reactive, right? So something broke, let's say the elevator broke, we call people to come over to fix the elevator. That's reactive. But when you're taking the reactive mindsets, you have issues because guests would be really, really unhappy if they are trapped in the elevator, right? And you could have safety hazards, okay, for all these things to happen. So AI, on the other hand, it's very easy for any kind of AI to take advantage of the data that you have because you're running the elevator for the last 10 years, right? How many times, what kind of things has been done, all these little things. If for a human being to remember all these little things, details, processes, and what kind of jobs have been done, when it was done, so on and so forth, it would be too much. And but for AI, it's a piece of cake. You understand everything and understand, okay, this elevator now used 10 years based on your maintenance schedule, based on all the things you did to the elevator and all the maintenance things you did. I would predict the elevator need to be maintained at a certain time so that we can avoid any kind of safety hazards. Okay, avoid the elevator to break down, for example, right? And then obviously another one is revenue management. Like Dr. Ku mentioned, you try to go online and book a hotel, and all of a sudden you have this information overload. You search a city and you got 100 different hotels, okay, even at very similar locations. And for different period of time when you're trying to book, the prices are also going to change. So how can we look at these and trying to understand from a consumer perspective and also from a hotel's perspective? Because those two are different, right? So from a hospitality industry perspective, you're going to try to make more money. So what it means is, yes, you have the seasonality, okay? So the demand goes up and down over time, right? For example. And then the AI looking at the past data, it will understand, okay, now it's the peak season. Okay, everybody else is raising the price and the hotel is super full and it just cannot accommodate all the demand. What it will do? It will raise the price for sure. And it will raise the price to a reasonable level. Not like in the past, we have, I mean, nowadays we still have revenue managers. They also do the same thing, but they are guessing. They're just thinking, okay, last year it was priced at $200 today, right? And this year it seems the demand is okay, I'm gonna do 210. This is basically guessing. But what AI can do is it can actually collect all the data from all the competitors because all the competitors has the price list online, right? They are able to go in and try it out how all the prices for all the dates are look like. And then look at their own individual hotel, look at their own history, combined with all these new information collected, they can guess a much better price, right? So it's really, really cool in revenue management when AI is applied there. And of course, when it comes to human resource management, when you do recruiting, it saves a lot of trouble. In Korea, it's the same. A lot of companies are actually using, the chatbots to interview because that, and especially in China, because there are too many applicants, right? So for humans to process that many applicants, it's almost impossible. So what they are doing is they introduce the chatbot to do the first round of interview. And based on the chatbot interview results, okay, they cut down the applicants to a reasonable level, and then you have the human, intervention, and then go from there. And also, if you think about the training, maintenance, retainment of people, if you have high turnover, it's extremely costly. And here, for example, in the United States, if you want to hire somebody, okay, the hiring cost is about $6,000, $7,000 each person. It's just trying to hire a hotel employee, okay, just regular hotel front desk employee. It costs 6,000 to just hire one. So the hiring cost is really, really high. And then if you're thinking about the training, right, and how if you have to do everything the old-fashioned way, you have a person who will lead you through all these things, it's very costly. But with the AI support, for example, you can just introduce a very easy chatbot, and whatever question you have, just ask in the talk, and everything is done. So very quickly. And also, when it comes to human resource management, one very important part is called staffing. Because how you staff actually makes a huge difference, okay, when it comes to the bottom line. Because, for example, in the hotel industry, the human capital cost, so labor cost, is very high. Okay, in New York, for example, it can reach like 50%. Look at the huge hotel, right? But the labor cost could be 50% of all operating costs. That's a huge chunk. Now, how can you staff will make a huge difference because you do not want to staff too many people for a low day, right? When you don't have many guests, you just overstaff yourself. You're paying so much more for, nothing. But at the same time, you don't want to understaff yourself when you have a lot of demand. It also introduces a lot of trouble. How you can actually look at the data, analyze it, understand it, and do the staffing properly. That's also a huge thing as well. Hilton does it very well, for example. Okay.
In that
And
case, Professor,
yes,
like when you explain to us, those domains actually pretty much traditional domains and conventional domains. However, which is going to be transformed with AI to the new way of business and process. That means
right.
students must have somewhat work experience in those domains and then integrate the AI into the expert domains. So what do you
Absolutely.
think? Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I think sometimes people thinking in a way that they jump ahead
uh,
instead of logically moving ahead. They just immediately think about, oh, 10 years later.
hmm,
But we have many years in between. Every year, the change is incremental, right? You gradually change, gradually integrate everything. Now, the human touch, I think, is a huge, huge thing. And for the hospitality, especially your empathy, right? Your human touch, the unique ways that you interact with people. Those are really things that will differentiate you from all these other, things, including AI. For example, as far as I can see, down the road, you will have a career path. Maybe we can call it experience designer or experience uh, creator or something. Okay, because all all individuals they will be able to do things their way, and this new career will provide them opportunity to help them to do things that in their way that they like. I think it's really, really nice. At the same time, of course, there is something subtle you have to think about. You don't want to overdo it, right? People get stressed out and freaked out if you do it too much. Okay, you personalize everything to the extent that is absurdly, then that's probably not good. But reasonably, if you think about it, if your company can provide all these individual travelers exactly what they want, think about how satisfied they will be, right? They got exactly what they want. And you can even push it a little bit and exceed their expectation by personalization. This is really, really because you can design experiences now with the AI's help. Not just like in the past, it's not possible. You cannot collect all the information, right? But now you can. And obviously, here I put together a quick example, a case study, Accor, which is an international brand, has a lot of hotels. I did something very nice integrating AI. I think that they started by putting in $250 million in 2016, and then they kept investing in AI, the direction. And these are the direct results, three directions: the guest satisfaction, operation efficiency, and sustainable practices. Okay, those are the direct result. And if you think about what they did, okay, under the new CEO's leadership, obviously, the conversational AI, they have this Phil Welcome, a chatbot, which does a very good job. Okay, if you think about it, and the data-driven personalization. This is also very interesting. We've been talking about this for a very long time, especially in the marketing. We we were dreaming to have personalized services, right? So at the very beginning, you have mass marketing because you just say, "Oh, this is great. Everybody's great." And then gradually people understand, okay, people have different needs and wants, and you have the market segmentation and the different segments you market towards, right? You're looking at the depth, looking at profitability, all that, and you have market segmentation. And then now it reaches the point that you can actually reach individuals. And if you guys use Facebook or some of these social media tools, you probably receive marketing materials tailored specifically for you, because in the past you may liked this, you may liked that, you may comment on this.
There's a
AI
sequel.
is collecting all the data and they know what you want. And you feel like, how come they know? And just got all these commercials, right? Tailored for you.
So one of
Sometimes,
one of the my potential topics that is how can I run away from the AI prison? There is AI aversion, kind of AI
yes,
aversion, AI the prison. So consumers and travelers, and we are in the AI prison, and the AI recommend us and recommend me pretty much that the possible options and products. And
right.
we unconsciously, even consciously, unconsciously, we have no choice but to follow that kind of a recommendation. And sometimes, what am I doing? Just keep track of that AI recommendation, and I'm a slave of AI.
Dr. Koo, there is a very popular trend in tourism. It's called a detox tourism.
Detox storage. Yes.
Yes, they detox tech impact. So
Okay.
basically, what they are doing, this is for real. For example, in the United States, there are a few Virgin Islands. Those islands that are not that far away from the mainland America, right? But they are little islands. And then those islands have very backwards tech support. So if you want to go online, very difficult, very slow. You cannot even have, cell phone signals there. But people like to go there because they feel like they are detox. They go there and they enjoy the original, traditional way of living, relaxation. It's very popular, actually. Quite a few people enjoy that. Uh, and then if you think like in this example, for example, right, you have the conversation, you have the data driven, and the AI powered room allocation. Uh, this in the past was done by individuals, by people, right, working at the front desk, because the front desk clerk can look at the guest history, visiting history, and the guest likes to have a room facing the courtyard or facing the ocean, so on and so forth they do. Nowadays, the AI powered, what they are doing is to such extent that is almost crazy. Uh, if you think about like this is for the high-end hotels like Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton. You go there, you stay there, you're one of their loyal customers, right? So this time you stay there for 2 nights and you left. Next time when you come back, you walk in the room, it's like when you left. Everything exactly the same. So where you put your picture frame, where you put the tower, where you put, the vase, where you put everything is according to you, because the AI is able to capture everything and then directly tell, the housekeeper, okay, you put things here, 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 and it can be done in even that extent. Obviously, we talked about maintenance. And one thing I want to particularly mention here is something related to waste reduction, sustainability, which is also a very, very popular research direction nowadays. And the system a core is using is called Winnow vision. This is if you think about it, it's actually fundamentally speaking, it's not like a super fancy thing. Okay. What it does is it records every little thing that you toss away, okay, in your kitchen. And based on the things that you tossed away and based on your menu, everything, it will give you recommendations. Therefore, you can reduce all the wastes. And the reduction is amazing. They are saving every year 16% on average, 16%. Some of the hotels save almost 40%. So you're looking at the tons of, literally tons of savings there, food waste, which obviously is going to be very helpful, right? Not only just from a profit margin perspective, but also from a carbon footprint perspective. I mean, you don't waste food, you save a lot of things, right? Sustainability and all that. And also, they really are serious about this. So what they're doing is not only they have these introduced, but also they have the organizational structure also changed for this, the culture also changed for this. So it's amazing how they are able to make all these very drastic changes to accommodate the new trend of AI. So they have information technology infrastructure, okay, they set it aside. They have the AI analysis units they set aside. And the departments are working together, cross-department collaborations because of all these. So it's really, really nice what they are doing there. Now, if you are thinking about you know the big data and AI, those two are really go hand in hand. And then sometimes people probably misunderstood or somehow they felt like, okay, AI is here, so the big data is no longer popular or something. But those two are actually go together, right? If you think about it, uh, when you're looking at any kind of decision making, it's probably ideal for you to have complete information, right? Although that only exists really in imaginations, but in reality, I think what you can get closer to that is by utilizing AIs. And think about any kind of decision you're trying to make. For example, you're trying to do a market research, right? You're trying to understand your competitors, what they are doing every day, what kind of marketing materials they put out, even at the practical level. If you have an individual to do that, you probably, like in the United States, if you want somebody every day to do that, you're probably going to spend $80,000 to hire somebody to do that. However, if you create a AI agent to do that, it costs you a couple of dollars for each run of information collection because it can just go out and scrape the data from online and come back and analyze, understand, and produce a summary for you in a format that you like. So it's really, really, really powerful. And of course, for your decision making, it's very, very useful because you did almost the perfect way of information. You collect all the information you can, right? And then it's also very powerful when it comes to the data analysis. I remember, when I was doing my PhD, we had to learn all these different languages and then coding and a program and do all this. And now the AI, if you say, okay, I want to do this analysis using R, for example, and I want to do this, and I do not know how to do it, can you teach me? AI will teach you. And you say, okay, can you write the code for me to do this? It will write the code for you to do this. But you need to understand it, right? And then you're able to run the analysis and understand what actually happened. Okay.
I
So
usually order to my student, not instead of AI.
stay away
I
from
want to
AI.
talk to with a
Yeah,
human, not to a machine.
Right. I think you definitely need to learn the backbones of the
Okay.
analysis.
Mhm.
Uh, the the understanding behind, all the analysis is really, really critical for
Uh,
your own good down the road. Because when you are doing research,
uh,
if your research is purely produced by AI, you don't have any credit.
uh,
Okay, it's the AI that produced the research. It's not you. So there is a difference there. And also, I think, for us, what in my case specifically, I allow the student to kind of use AI to help them, but I do things in a kind of phased way. So you have checkpoints over
uh,
time, and for each checkpoint, you will have to produce a video recording of how and explain why.
uh,
And sometimes it's a real time, like right now, Zoom chatting. I need to ask you what you're talking about, why you're doing this. So it's not like, oh, I give you assignment and you just feed it to AI and give me the results. That's not good. Okay. And then the dynamic pricing, we also mentioned a little bit already. And you're thinking, the airline industry, right? That's where revenue management started. And then now the hotels, the restaurants, and the theme parks now even use revenue management techniques. And with the AI help, it definitely it helps a lot. But from a consumer perspective, it could be a little bit challenging because it'll be harder for you to find the deals like in the past, right? And the thing, especially with AI, is related to ethical issues. I think, well, from AI's perspective, it doesn't have ethical issues. It's just from humans' perspective, we consider that what they are doing are not right. For example, they could produce you something that are biased. Okay, why they produce you something that are biased? Because when they are trained, the data set they got are biased. For example, you have AI tools, the chatbot training, right? You have a lot of people in the training set, they have, let's say, darker skin colors, right? And then the training produced results. And then now in reality, people are checking in. And then now here it comes somebody with a lighter skin tone, right? And the difference of the interaction could cause issues there, uh, things like that. And also, when it comes to data privacy, um, I mean, it remembers everything. So, and especially when you're talking to AI tools that are open source, they definitely use your information. Okay, for example, if you feed your personal information to DeepSeek, it will remember your information. You ask some.
People concern a lot. The Chinese government look at my privacy, and even they don't provide some sensitive issue of your country. So we believe your capability of AI and capacity of your organization dealing with AI and sort of things. But we cautious mind about the Chinese government probably will screen something sensitive issue from the users, and and also the China, they are not uh, taking care of their individual privacy seriously comparing to Europe and US. That's
Yeah.
why they analyze so cheaply and comparing to other countries. Is that right argument? What do you think about that?
Dr. Ke, in China, I think you have 2 billion surveillance cameras.
Yes.
2 billion surveillance cameras. In China, if somebody steal a car,
Uh,
they get caught next day.
Okay.
Because you steal the car, the camera captures you,
Uh,
drive it, the camera just traces you all the way,
okay,
and they
that's the good
just
side.
let you have some good time, and then when you reach your destination, somebody's waiting for you, and then get the car back. You
Okay.
know, it's yeah. I mean, it's really the cultural difference is huge.
Okay.
Like in the United States, you
Uh,
cannot
sure.
install cameras, right?
Yes.
All over you probably the whole city has a few spots with
Uh,
cameras.
uh,
Basically, the crossroad very important. You have to kind of warn people because here you have camera, and the information is in the Google map. It's
uh,
also in the Waze, all these map kind of apps. And okay, here you have the camera, so you slow down, you stop, right? And then people here, believe it or not, they have the speed detector,
uh,
well, speed radar detector for
uh,
drivers.
uh,
So what that does is you put that speed radar detector on your dashboard, you drive, and if you are speeding, it's okay because the radar detector can tell you whether there is a cop, somewhere.
shit.
You can slow down before you get detected by the cop.
Okay.
So you do have different, but I guess that's the cultural thing, right? So
Okay.
here, privacy is very, very important and
Uh,
things like.
okay.
And also, like when you're talking about automation, sometimes automation is really nice and beautiful. You don't need to worry about anything. You just go and everything's done and just, do whatever you want to do. But sometimes you feel like, oh, this is something that I need to do, right? And you just take this away from me. So it's very, very subtle and interesting when it comes to the ethical side.
Uh,
Okay, now I think we spent half of our time talking about all these kind of general big picture stuff and industry implications and things like that. And I think we need to also spend a little bit of time talking
mm,
about research
sure.
stuff. So I think the first observation that we can see because of the AI is you have a lot of new areas emerging, and it's kind of like it's not a brand new, but because of the AI, it has this new um, kind of challenge or opportunity. So everything you can think of when it comes to customer service loyalty, big data, all these, when AI is considered, it just makes things more fascinating. It just gives you more opportunities to look at things in brand new ways.
Mm,
And then sometimes even, some topics that have been studied over the past 100 years, because of the AI, it gives you some new kind of innovative, almost inspirations for you to look into. So I think that's very, very fascinating. And next is the methodology. Okay, in the past, typically people are saying, okay, I'm doing this in a quantitative way or doing this qualitative way, right? And now more and more popular is the mixed method.
mm,
You're using both. And both of those methods are beautiful, right? And as long as you're able to do both. In the past, why not that much using mixed method? Because it will take too much time. Now, because of the AI, it significantly reduced the amount of time and effort in these, and you'll actually be able to
mm,
do the mixed methods better. And also, obviously, it really encourage collaborative research a lot. So these are the 5 areas when it comes to AI that I would say probably most popular, okay, nowadays in hospitality and tourism. So you can see I just called them automation, customer trust, labor shortage, customer experience, technological disruptions. And we can just go over them one by one. For example, when it comes to the automation, okay, AI service delivery, right? You can put this into this two-dimensional kind of quadrants and think about it when it comes to efficiency To the left, you have relatively low efficiency, right? And high efficiency, right? And then when it comes to the human touch, personal touch, bottom is low and the top is high. And if you think about this as quadrants, then this is the area that is very, very interesting and people like it. Okay. And also people also like this. Also relatively low efficiency, but because it's human reception, right? It gives you that personal touch, high personal touch. Some people like that. And especially relatively older aged people, high-end client, they actually like this quite a bit. And the facility balance, but a lot of actually like. And obviously, when you look at this, you can see, oh, you have automated kiosk, right? You just, when you check in, you go to a machine and scan your ID and you're checked in. Or you just directly use your phone when you're checked in, everything is good. Yeah. And then the next area, of course, this is just one example. We have a lot of articles. If you're interested, you can go and read those articles. You just search this Google Scholar, you will find a lot of articles. And then if you think about this, the acceptance is also another very, very hot topic, okay, when it comes to AI. And one of the things that affect, acceptance, and of course, we have a lot of models we can talk about, right? The Utah, and all the technology acceptance model and all those models. But if you think about it, you have these four dimensions quite often attracted a lot of research interest. Okay, so if you're thinking about whether the AI is reliable, whether it can do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so from that perspective, do you feel like you can trust the AI? Okay, that's called cognitive trust. Okay, and then when you are thinking about AI, you think about how I would perceive AI as something that will help me in my, guest service experience process. That's also very important, right? But that's customer perception. And then what happened in the past definitely affects what is going on today. So if you had a very bad experience in the past, probably you're going to be a little bit more reluctant to, deal with this new AI thing and all that, right? And also, this is almost like a subject norm, okay? And because it's just your general belief or your friends, your family, just generally speaking, okay, this is not something that you like or you have certain attitude against it or for it, right? And that's also a huge area of research. And then one of the most important things that for-profit organizations use AI, obviously, is to help with their operation. And one of the most critical challenges in the operation is the labor. It relates to labor costs, relates to labor shortage, relates to labor efficiency, so on and so forth. Just so many issues there. And this is what typically AI is used for. For example, you are shorthanded. Whether you're able to introduce a chatbot to help you with, interacting with customers, okay, and that will relieve, the human labor shortage pressure a little bit, or you have certain challenges that only specialized people can handle, but you don't have that specialized people. But with the AI, you can actually create AI agent with expertise in certain areas. Sometimes, the AI agent can help you with planning. Sometimes the AI agent can help you with relaxing. Okay. Sometimes the AI agent can remember all the company policies and you just do not know something and you need to ask somebody. If everything is by human, it's very difficult because a company can has thousands of pages of policies, right? And you are particularly interested in something very, very specific. Okay, here is the chatbot. You just talk to the chatbot, it helps you. And of course, it improves the efficiency and so on and so forth. So every little area, if you think about it, really it can help you. And the interesting part is when you're thinking about AI's introduction into your operation, right? And from our perspective as a master student, PhD student, or academia, you think about what you can actually do to help the whole process. You may be part of the development process. Okay. Sometimes I think people um, misunderstood what we can do, even though we are, well, by training, we are kind of social scientists, right? So we're not STEM. However, when a computer scientist and a robot scientist, they want to develop an AI tool to help with the operation, they need our help because we are the content expert. We understand how business is run. We understand what are the critical components within each piece of business in the restaurant and the hotel, right? So when they are developing these tools, they need to consult us to understand realistic dynamics in the workplace and so on and so forth. So you're able to actually contribute to development, contribute to the testing, contribute to the whole process of introduction, managing. You have so many things you can do. And especially if you just learn a little bit on the technical side, you have equipped yourself with a huge competitive advantage because not only you can use them, but also you understand how in different ways you can deal with potential issues caused by these AI tools. So a lot of interesting possibilities emerging, and I think there are just so many things we can do there. Obviously, customer experience is a humongous area, right, when it comes to AI. And if you're thinking about it, I think the satisfaction, personalization, those are the two key dimensions we can kind of use to categorize different types of research in this area. If you think about it, um, if you over personalize, let's say all the information, although, yeah, you talk to the AI, sometimes it's not like intentionally you're telling the AI, certain things related to yourself. Sometimes the AI just heard what you're talking about, right? But because it remembers, it will use that information down the road to provide you with personalized services. And there is a very subtle line there. If the information the AI is using is a little bit too personal, then it will make things really, really uncomfortable, right? And so a proper quadrant probably is you have reasonably high, but at the same time, you want to make sure your customers are satisfied. Um, so, and then I think the last part is the most interesting and a lot of unknowns there. If you're thinking about AI technologies, think about these different possibilities. The AI technology, how the industry is gonna work down the road. If you think about it, is it gonna be the same? Even if you just think about 5 years down the road, probably the industry is gonna act really, really differently, right? With all these AI tools, how marketing is gonna be done, how the guest service is gonna be done, how all these maintenance is gonna be done. And then when you restructuring it, is it gonna be more efficient, or you can find a certain niche that emphasize the human touch and still prosper down that road, or everything has to be integrated with certain elements of AI or things like that, right? And then the environment obviously is going to be affected significantly, right? The carbon footprints because of the using of the technology, and what kind of possibilities you could have, okay, if while the uh, the waste management can be improved significantly, the transportation, and even if you think about it, when we're talking about self-driving technology, for example. Now, in my mind, immediately, the self-driving technology is not just the car business anymore. It could take over part of the lodging business because, in the past, you have to drive for 5 hours. It's too far a drive, right? If you have to drive 7 hours, it's too far a drive. And then you have to kind of uh, fly there, and then you stay there for one night, and then you do business, you come back. And then you have the airline business, you have the lodging business. But just the self-driving technology, imagine when full self-driving is available, all you need to do is, okay, it's nighttime. I'm going to just do the nighttime because all I need to do is get into the car and sleep. When I wake up, I'm at the destination. I saved the hotel, I saved the airline. And all I need to do is just to find a place to wash my face and get tidy up, and I can go and attend my business. And it saves so much trouble, right? And especially for leisure travelers, for business travelers, this could be a little bit stretched, right? Because you have to maintain a certain way, professional looking. But for leisure travelers, all you do is just sleep one night, you're at the destination, and you are not taking any parking spot, right? And you're there, and then you can enjoy your life there and enjoy your tour. So it will have a lot of interesting things. Obviously, for the government agencies, right, how they're looking at AI and what kind of regulations need to be put in place to avoid unfair competition, for example, or bias or hallucination, all that, right? That could be also, and obviously, when it comes to the competition, when AI is considered, it also introduces a lot of dynamics there as well. So, um, I think roughly what we talked about today, it's a big picture of AI and big data. And we talked about some of the industry implications and research implications, the possibilities. Unfortunately, all those built-in poll questions we could not play with. Uh, but I think roughly what we are looking at today is really it's AI and big data that are here. So when we're looking at them, we really want to take a critical view of these tools, how we can use them, right? And then we want to take a proactive approach towards these tools because we're hospitality. I think it's very, very important that you want to find your unique competitiveness as a human being, right? At the same time, taking advantage of the AI technology and tools to improve. So you can actually do things much faster, much better, much efficient with the help of AI tools. Um, Now, I think about this. How will you contribute to the evolution of smart hospitality? I hope this is the question that you can, take home with you and think about. That's my presentation so far.
Okay, wow, very good. It's overally you are introducing the role of AI into our hospitality business and tourism business. Definitely, I am eagerly investigate on the role of AI, and I and my students writing the relevant paper uh, to how the AI embracing the conventional business into the consumer perspective. Consumers they are I guess they are once the AI is so well suited in the conventional process, they are willing to adopt AI. proactively.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think when it comes to AI, wow, there's just so many exciting things that you
Yes,
guys
yes, right.
do.
Uh-huh,
Really, really so many exciting things you guys can do. And I know you guys probably like social media,
uh-huh,
and I do not see a lot of social media posts actually introducing AI in hospitality industry, and some of the things are going to be exciting. Some of the popular social media posts relate to tourism,
uh-huh,
and people are talking about where to travel, how to do certain things, right?
uh-huh,
But still, not a lot are actually using the AI tool. And if, I mean, you guys are perfect, right? So think about
mhm,
that could be something that you want to do. I mean, if you want to be an influencer, right? That's something that you can do and build yourself a very nice portfolio online.
mhm,
And when you do research, that just, it really, I think it really boils down to what you are interested in and how you can think about ways to do what you have been doing very well
mhm,
and it takes to the next level with the help of AI.
mhm,
Because it doesn't matter how good you are at certain things,
mhm,
when you are able to utilize the power of AI, you can do it much better and faster.
mhm,
Believe it or not.
mhm,
Okay, you can try it out.
mhm. Any students have any questions for him or any questions, research or whatever? Uh, okay, if you're not, I keep asking you.
Thank you.
Because I have much curiosity and how world is changing. You know, Professor Nan, who are and me probably a bit more knowledgeable, bit more aging, bit more intention and desire to do something with AI. I think this generation and a younger generation and this master degree students, they may have uh, perceive well the phenomenon of AI in industry and business, but they don't know how to manipulate it into research context.
Right.
Uh,
I think students, they are very good at using the AI tools.
uh-huh,
I think all of them are very good at using, for example, ChatGPT, right?
uh-huh,
And if we are going to write something, they can use the ChatGPT very nicely.
uh-huh,
If they have some questions, they will ask ChatGPT through the interaction with the ChatGPT, they are able to find answers, which are really, really nice.
uh-huh,
But we have to really think about it in a forward-looking manner, right? So we're not thinking about, yeah, I can use the tool now. I can use the tool to solve this problem, to solve that problem. What we are thinking now is how we are going to be doing better 5 years down the road
uh-huh,
with the AI. So if you're not learning that, just imagine you jump 5 years down the road. All of a sudden, you may not be able to find where you're going to fit in
uh-huh,
because you just kind of let go a lot of things. And it takes learning
uh-huh,
for you to get there. And we learn as humans in a progressive way.
uh-huh,
Unfortunately, it's just like eating. You cannot eat the third bowl rice, right? To begin with, you have to eat your first bowl of rice, then eat the second bowl of rice, and you're full. You cannot just directly jump to eat the second bowl of rice and you're full, right? This is what happens. AI is different because it learns everything simultaneously. Imagine the model has 4 trillion parameters. That's not something that you can easily put your head around, right? So from our perspective, I think what we want to think about is what we are really enjoying now, what we really like, and what we are really uniquely defined. So you're interested in certain things.
mm,
You really want to, because that's your interest, right? So it's much easier for you to do it better. But now, instead of doing it better with the traditional way, you need to think about how can I do it better
mm,
with certain AI tools. Not all the AI tools, because there are thousands, hundreds of millions of AI tools. Okay. So each of them has its characteristics. Some are good with this, some are good with that, right? So, for example, if you want to write a very nice article, right, with a little bit writer touch, artistic touch, Claude, which is AI chatbot, is better doing that instead of ChatGPT. If you want to do solve a very complex problem, okay, with extensive reasoning, you want to find a reasoning model, right? Like DeepSeek, or for example, O3, okay, ChatGPT 4.5. Okay, it's very good with reasoning. It's relatively slow, but it's very, very good, right? And if you're thinking about protecting your own private information, but you want to understand what happened, because a lot of things. For example, in my case, I have my doctor's, my medical records,
mm,
a lot of them, right? So you have the past 10, 20 years of medical records. Those things you don't want to share with anyone. You definitely do not want to feed to ChatGPT or feed to DeepSeek. Okay. However, there are tools that you can use. For example, Google has a notebook LM.
mm,
Okay. And that tool is for you to put your private information in. And your private information put in, they are considered as sources.
mm,
And then that tool will analyze your sources, only use the information in your sources. And it does not reveal the information to anyone or
mm,
anywhere. So that gives you the safety of privacy information, private information. At the same time, if you want to understand what happened, as a human, if you want to, for example, like the medical records, right? All these, you have to look at all these and find out what's going on. It's very, very tedious,
mm,
but it can help you very easily to do that. And if you want to understand, for example, investment choices, and you look at the company, let's say you want to invest in Marriott, and Marriott is a publicly traded company. You probably want to go back 5 years to understand every year what the company is doing, right? So the annual reports, the quarterly reports, right? And each document, I'm not even talking about all these online information, just these annual reports. Each has about 200 pages. And just reading these documents yourself and a quarterly report will take a lot of your time, right? But you can put, these reports into the notebook LM, for example. Okay, it constrain. It does not hallucinate. Okay, because AI nowadays chatbot quite often they produce false information, and you do not know. You thought it's true. You thought it's real, but often it's not. ChatGPT is known for that. And you know, last year, a lawyer went to the court and presented to the court a case from the past to defend the defendant. And the judge was like, "Where did you get this case?" And they check. There was no such a case. It was generated by ChatGPT. It was purely imagined. Okay. So when you're thinking about using ChatGPT or any of these AI tools, I think to begin with, you should learn a little bit of prompt engineering. Okay. It's a fancy term to say how you're gonna prompt the um, the chatbot. Okay, and when you're talking about a prompt, you have two types of prompts. One type is called a system prompt. The other type is the prompt as a user, your prompt, okay, user's prompt to interact with ChatGPT. And when I mean, using ChatGPT just as an example, okay? For Google, they are called gems, okay? For ChatGPT, you have individual, you can create personalized, individual, specialized ChatGPT for whatever purposes you want, right? Now, the system prompt will tell the ChatGPT what it's supposed to do. Okay. So the ChatGPT will follow your instruction. That's like embedded in them. Okay. The rules they need to follow to solve the problems that you are asking. Okay. So you tell ChatGPT, okay, you are a lawyer, right? You specialize in common law, you're criminal law, business law. You're doing this, you do not hallucinate. Okay, never make up new facts, and you're detail oriented. Your feedback is constructive, things like that, right? That gives the system, they understand, okay, here's what I need to do. And a user prompt means how are you going to interact with ChatGPT? Google has a course. I think it's a free course. It takes 8 hours to learn. Uh, but I can summarize probably in a few words. Okay, what it does is just a few things. The first word is you need to provide a context. Okay, so when you're talking to ChatGPT, you need to provide a context. Okay, you describe what you're trying to do. Okay, what the problem, the context of the problem. Second, you want to give the ChatGPT a persona. Okay. So you're saying, I want a song. You write a song for me. Then you need to tell ChatGPT, you are a composer, right? Specializing pop music or country music, whatever, right? To a certain extent. Okay. Persona. And then you want to provide a reference because when you describe, it's not that easy to describe everything in detail. If you have a reference, a picture, for example, put it in, right? Or a document, put it in, it will use that to help with the process. Okay. And then you need to think about um, when you're talking to the ChatGPT, what you want to do. That's the task. Okay, what kind of task? What kind of goal you try to achieve? What kind of task you want to complete? And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you evaluate the output of the ChatGPT. Okay, you talk to the ChatGPT talk back, right? Give you some words. Then you need to yourself need to evaluate whether the output is actually true because some are just made up. Okay, so you want to make sure you evaluate, and then the last and the most important thing is you iterate the process. You do it again and then do it again and then do it again until you reach the point that you're happy, right? So that's not our Google course. Okay, but basically that's what from a prompt engineer perspective, the key things that you want to pay attention to.
Mhm.
The more detailed you are, the better, obviously. And even better, you can ask ChatGPT to generate prompt for you. Okay. It's just you follow the same process. Okay. And then once you get a very good prompt, then you can use the prompt to do a lot of things. That's that's also very, very important. Uh, but when it comes to, if you're thinking about going down the road, how am I going to differentiate myself from everybody else? Then you really need to think hard about what you are really, really good at, what are you really, really interested in, what are the things that uniquely define you. Because if you are thinking only about things that everybody else is thinking, then you're just another person, right? So you're not really differentiate yourself from the rest. And when you're trying to amplify your uniqueness, this is where the AI is coming in.
Mm.
You're not trying to find something that replaces you. Okay, that's not what we are trying to do. You're trying to find something that will amplify your uniqueness, your competitive advantage. That's what you want to do. And then by doing that, people will love to hire you. People love to have you as their, co-workers, friends, and, colleagues. I
Okay,
think that,
Professor Nan.
yeah,
Uh, Students, you have any questions for him? No? Okay, go ahead.
yes,
Rim?
Yeah. Thank you, Professor, for your lecture. Do you hear me? Can you hear me?
yes.
Uh, I'm just curious about like what's your intake about creative and artistic AI? Because don't you think that from an artistic perspective, using AI for art is going to defy the whole purpose? And also from the other hand, like from artistic art enthusiast, like that are not going to be interested in that specific product or service.
Uh, Thank you. Okay, this is a great question. My daughter likes to draw a lot,
Mm.
and she hates AI generated art. Okay, that's in my house. What is going on? My take on this is when you are using AI as a tool to generate art, uh, I think it depends on the purpose of that art. Okay. For example, if you are creating a animation and you need some background, right, to save time, I think that's fine with AI generate the background and then from artistic perspective, the artist will personally come in and create the even with the AI's help to create the characters and then all that. I think that's okay. But when you're saying now completely let AI to create something, um, you know, as a piece of art, I think you need to have a very specific market that will take that as something that they consider valuable, right? Because from AI's perspective, uh, I do not really see the uniqueness because every piece is unique, right? If it create every piece is unique. So there is no uniqueness in it because every piece is unique. When it comes to art, it doesn't matter what kind of art you're talking about. I think one of the most important part is, of course, the quality is very important, right? But the uniqueness and the artist touches. Uh, that really defines a piece of art, right? Because this is done by this person. It has a very clear style and a very specific touch. And when people look at it, they understand how much work, how much time and effort, everything training has to go in, and how much inspiration, all these have to work together to get that piece of art out, right? And that's where you got the value, and people appreciate that. Now you have AI, it takes 1 second to create something. It's beautiful, it's pretty, okay? But it can always do that. And which, in my opinion, it does not have any uniqueness in it. So to me, it does not have any value because there is no scarcity. Um, and when talking about this, it's like cryptocurrencies. Okay, cryptocurrencies, I think a Bitcoin will have value because it has scarcity. It has only 21 million coins. That's it. So because of the scarcity and people's willingness to use it, it will have value, Bitcoin. But like a Dogecoin or like Donald Trump's Trump coin, I don't think those have values because there's no scarcity. You just, you know, do this. It's like almost a fashion. So that's my take. But I think the human artists do have their position, and their art will always be variable. That's my take.
Mm. Okay. Is that answer for you? Okay, go. Chang'an? Mm.
Hi, Professor Hua. It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed your presentation.
thank
So
you.
one thing that came across my mind is that you mentioned that students will still have to know the backbone of data analytics.
Mhm.
And could you be a little more specific about the topics or specific themes for the sake of students who are just, starting their graduate programs? I think that'd be
Okay.
very helpful.
So in my PhD classes or master classes, what I do typically is I will introduce a little bit of mathematical intuition, but not too extensive, just like what you see today. That's the level I introduce. So, for example, when we are looking at let's say common factor analysis, right, which is the method used to group things, right, and a cluster analysis. I will give a little bit of math. So the students, because when you see the math, it's very clear how things actually work. And because of the math, I'm not testing my student how to derive, okay, the methodology or anything like that. But with that mathematical intuition, once you get it, you will not have a problem when you're trying to select a method that will be work for your research question. That's the goal. Because everything we are trying to learn here is to serve, your research question, right? How are you going to get to a research question? What kind of questions can you raise? And then you're trying to turn the research question maybe into a hypothesis. Then you can test it, right? Or you're trying to explore the research question qualitatively. That's also fine. Uh, but you need to know, based on the research question, what method would be appropriate, right, to answer that question. That's the fundamental criteria, I would say, for all these backbone kind of arguments. It's just you need to have that little basic mathematical intuition. And with that, it will be very clear. Without that mathematical intuition, people will be extremely confused. Okay, oh, I have this question. Should I use this? Should I use that? And they're confused when they're asked. You will, if you ask ChatGPT or something, and the answer is, oh, you can do this. You can also do that. And it's not that clear cut. So I think for a researcher down the road, if that's where you want to go, or somebody who are going to use research as a very important part of their job, if you're going to be a consultant down the road, if you're going to be a researcher down the road, even if you're working in industry, research is really, really critical. Maybe it's not academic research per se, right? In the industry, you're looking at practical questions. And those questions, well, some of the questions, if you're able to see, that could be an opportunity to turn you into the next billionaire, right? So I would say that's roughly the idea.
Okay, thank you.
She's going to goes to you, right? Hun, Nanhua.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for hiring her.
You know, yeah, we are doing renovations now. Of course, we're very happy to have her.
So renovation, symbol of the renovation, evidence of renovation is Dr. Kim hiring productive researcher from Korea.
Yes, we're very happy we're having her come over. I was in the interview process, by the way.
I know, right?
Oh, it's very nice.
Serious, you should know Dr. Jonghyun Kim. She is working under my research center and actively research on AI. And couple of years so far, she produced a very good research outcomes. And she got a job in the University of Central Florida from next semester. So this is great, performance and big news. Actually, someone who in outside of a country and Korea, and conversely finding a job in the U.S. soil, this is tough game. Anyway, she got the game win.
Yeah. Her English is very good. I was very surprised that, her English was so good.
Yes, yes. Her English is fantastic, a lot better than me, and just a bit behind me is aggressive mind, and I'm educate her aggressive behavior under my center.
Very good. We can
Thank you
work
for
on
the
some things
compliments.
down the road, of
Yeah.
course.
So I want to mention it. This big news for our students. You have a great potential and capacity in your future if you work hard and produce a very good top tier journals in Korea. Doesn't matter. Speaking English and performance in academia, then you're finding a great opportunity in the
Oh,
US, in Europe, in Asia, in China, whatever. Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
We are very proud to have her over. And also for commercial purposes, I think I should also do this. Our college has been ranked #1 in the United
Yes.
States in talent management
Hmm.
for quite a few years now.
Yes.
So we really welcome, excellent, colleagues, friends to come over and join us.
Sure.
It's really, really nice. We are moving in that direction. And also we after renovation and especially May of this year, the Epic Universe is going to be open. We are right across the street from Epic Universe, which is another huge theme park by Universal.
Hmm.
And it's going to be very, very interesting.
Hmm. Yes. Any questions from student side again? No? Okay. That we have still 8 minutes to go, and I want to ask you this one. This is a
Okay.
big moment these days, because of AI, and because of China. These two big big phenomenon. One is the AI actually assist us to writing, manuscript and well, and also Chinese academia push their scholar to write good papers. So these days, submitting a journal and publication in a top tier journal is really hard to publish. It's because of AI, because of Chinese impact. So,
Uh,
what's your advice for me, and what's your guide for me to do? It's really tough. Wow.
for example, our college houses a few top-tier journals, uh, International Journal of Hospitality Management, International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management,
Uh,
Destination Marketing and Management. Those are all top tier, right?
uh,
And and also JHTR.
mm,
So when we are looking at the numbers of submissions, for
mm,
example, International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management, they are looking at 1,900
mm,
submissions a year.
mm,
It's just explosive growth, and people are writing a lot of papers, and obviously that contributes to making the game so difficult nowadays. I also got rejections,
mm,
frequently, and it's I guess that's it just we have more and more researchers in
mm,
this area, and then when you are submitting, you're facing a lot of competitions, and then it's like 1900s, and you have 4 issues a year, and each issue you have, let's say, 20 papers,
mm,
and you do the math, it's 100 papers, right?
mm,
100 papers versus 1,900 submissions, then it's like 5%, right? Between 5 to 10%. Then and also sometimes you do run into lock related issues. Reviewers, they use AI to do the review.
yes.
And I ran into one of those, and I got the review back. I sent it to Favzi. Favzi is the editor in chief, and the review cited papers saying, okay, because of these citations, what I was saying was not right. And I asked Fabzi, I was like, can you ask the author to send me these papers? Because I haven't read them. I could not find them. And then he went, and then the reviewers were like, oh, I'm sorry, I used, to do the review. And sometimes you do go into these things. And it's and also sometimes the reviewers, um, because we have so many journals, right? And then sometimes the reviewers' quality is not there. They do not understand, or they do not have time to review the article. I think these are practical kind of challenges that we have to, deal with. But it's always a good idea to be good friends with all these editors in chiefs and associate editors, right? So when you send it over, I say, okay, this is my paper, okay?
Okay, Professor Nan Huan, you know who I am. I'm an editor of Journal of Smart Tourism. Please submitting your paper
Yes.
to me.
I'm very happy to be on the editor of
I should survive. I should survive in this year. I'm going to submitting the application to Scopus in May
okay.
and ESCI in December. So it's a critical moment to whether die or survive.
Oh yeah, I really like the direction of the journal. I think the journal will fly because that's the trend. That's the trend today.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, yeah, Dave, thank you very much for your seminar. For our students, your seminar is great and great opportunity to know the AI phenomenon and your overall, introduction for the AI and hospitality industry and academia. We learned from you a lot today, even me, and I look forward to see you face to face in a conference soon. And
Are you going to Japan this year? There
no,
is a hospitality and tourism summit in Japan, Fukuoka,
okay,
in May.
May.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about it.
Okay.
I have money, but I don't have time. This is my problem.
Okay, that's the dilemma.
I,
Okay, but it's a good dilemma.
I have enough the research fund to go around, with, too busy to do something my task. So that's my problem. It's not
What?
the matter of the money; it's matter of time.
Okay, okay. That's a good challenge to have.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
easier to.
Nan Huan, Professor, thank you very much. Ming Ten Chien, Shai Chien.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you very
everyone.
much. And students, just a moment, I want to explain this course in overall. Professor Wan, you may leave.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, this course actually originally I designed for a seminar course, and I give credit for you to achieve for your graduation. So it's not the tough game. But school asked me to evaluate just like other course. So I have no choice but to evaluate midterm examination, final term examination. So I submitting my application to school uh, with midterm examination presentation and final term examination presentation. It's not because of my intention. It's because of my school asked me to do that because the school uh, pay for the honorarium for the the presenters. But here's my thinking. So at least you're submitting your one page summary into e-campus. Okay, one page enough. So I am going to check it out your submission one page. So your evaluation and your score will be evaluated by myself the one paper submission and your attendance. Okay. And midterm examination and final term examination, I'm just ask you to summarizing the 1 page and before the midterm examination, you are converging into one, so probably 5 or 6 pages, and submitting to the system as a midterm examination. Okay, so it's redundant. It's a physically redundant. Okay, but the things that you have to submitting 1 page for summary about today's seminar, that's a real one. And the midterm examination and final term examination is you just get together the 1 page and converge into one the midterm application and submitting to the midterm box. Okay, that's your job. So it's not so difficult. It's just submitting. Okay, so every single weekend after listening this presentation and make summary and submitting to the e-campus, and I check out your submission and your attendance. That's going to be your credit. So the issue is not the matter of your brain game, it's a matter of your physical game, attendance, and the submitting to 1 page summary about today's presentation. Okay. Thank you very much. I look forward to see you next week again. And information about this course, I'm going to post onto eCampus. Please check it out. The deadline is before the next seminar. So probably next Tuesday, midnight. That's your deadline. Okay. Just before we 1 week away from now, we're going to another seminar, 10 o'clock. That's the deadline. Okay, that's the deadline. Okay, good night. Oh, good afternoon. Sorry. See you next week.